Has your laziness ever cost you 50,000 euros? Definitely happened to me. About 6 years ago, my job was to design electromechanical systems for offshore oil platforms and other customers inside of the oil and gas industry. And in this particular case, I was designing the system for a customer who has an oil rig inside of the Norwegian Sea. And that system that I was designing was just a small portion of the entire electrical system, and I was designing the power distribution unit. For those of you who don't know what a power distribution unit is, it basically means when there's power coming into the enclosure and then it gets split into several different branches, and this entire mechanism is called power distribution because you are distributing power to downstream circuits. So I was designing this particular cabinet, which actually wasn't even that complex. It was just a few circuit breakers and a main switch. And this story is about that main switch because the main switch was designed such that it is mounted inside of the enclosure. Then it has a huge axis that comes towards the cover of the enclosure, towards the door. And inside of the door, there is a hole and the mechanism that allows the user to turn the switch on and off. So this mechanism, it's called an actuator. It has to fit perfectly so that every time you close the door, the axis gets pressed into the actuator and it allows the user to switch it on or off. So what happened was there was significant time pressure for this particular project and everything had to be done very quickly. And what happens then is people tend to take shortcuts, which is what I did. The normal procedure is that the engineer checks the drawings, and once those drawings are approved by the engineer, me, then they get sent to production and effectively that enclosure gets produced. In this particular case, this little shortcut that I took by not checking the drawings, it cost the company 4 different doors for that particular enclosure. Because first time I didn't check the drawings at all. The second time I just glanced over them. The third time I realized that the drawings have been made mirrored. So the coordinates of the holes that needed to be drawn inside of the door were actually in the wrong position. Every single one of those doors cost about 12,000 euros. And afterwards I was made basically an example of what not to do inside of the company. Luckily the company had a really positive mentality regarding these kind of things. And it was all about what can we learn from this example and what can we bring forward in the future so that we don't make the same mistake. And I remember the manager standing up there and giving this speech about there's a project that we want to make an example of which didn't go as planned, and I will have everyone there anonymous because I don't want to mention everyone's name. And I just stood up there and I said, in case someone is wondering, and I was just telling this to the team, in case someone's wondering, it was me who made this mistake. So you can all laugh about me because I'll be laughing about myself for quite some years. And so this happened. We made this example of what not to do and how we shouldn't ever take shortcuts, even under time pressure, because the procedure has been made so that not only you know what to do all the time, but also so that you don't take shortcuts, so that you always check your own work and you also check the work of others. So I hope this illustration gives you a good example of what not to do. Please learn from me. Actually check your work. Don't take shortcuts. It is very, very crucial because every single time we decide to take a shortcut, there's a potential risk. And in this case, the risk was that something can go wrong. And physically what happened, that axle from the main switch didn't fit the actuator. So it didn't match. You couldn't switch off the circuit and you had to replace the door every single time because it's not like you can just fix up a stainless steel door. You have to make a new one. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.